Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Asim. I'm working as DevOps engineer. Guys, in this video, I'm going to cover the Kubernetes CI/CD. For that, we are going to use the GitLab and we are going to use Helm. And for the Kubernetes YAML verification, we are going to use Datree. So let's begin. So what I've done, I've created this repository and we are going to use this repository. This is the public repository, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to use one Ubuntu server, and for the cluster, Kubernetes cluster, I'm going to use kind. So what I've done, I've created a README MD for you guys. So every command, everything we need to use are going to be available in this repository, and I'm going to cover some of the cool features of Datree, and it is a really great tool, and you can use in your organization as well. So it is pretty much safe, and some of the feature that I would like to share regarding the Datree, for instance, some of the flags, for instance, if you navigate to this Datree.io, I'm going to click this. So you will see some of the CLI arguments where you can use these flags. So for instance, dash no record where you don't want to send policy checks to the backend, and the backend is here. It means that your account which is associated with the app.datree.io. So if you want to if you don't want to use this backend, you can exactly do that. It is totally up to you. I mean, you can select the relevant flags and use Datree according to your requirements. We are going to cover in this video that um, we are going to use Helm, but we are not going to install Datree in our Kubernetes cluster, which we are going to create. Instead, what we are going to do, we are going to use the Helm template, and we are going to output that output of the our Helm template into this Datree.yaml. So let's begin. So this is the just basic demo. So as far as the installations is concerned, that what we need for that, and I'm going to cover that. Further, I need to tell you that you should have your Datree token, and once you log in into your Datree account, you will see your Datree token from your settings area, and you will easily find your Datree token. And we need to add that particular token in our GitLab variables. And if I navigate to the GitLab section, you will click on the settings and CI/CD, and you will find the variables with regard to that. So let me show you that bit part. So before I start, because all you need to do simply copy and click these command, and we are going to install everything. So these are the variables section area. If I do expand it, let me do that for you guys. If I click the expand, you see, this is the Datree token I'm talking about. You need to create this variable, and some of the other token which I've created are according to my Docker Hub registry, and this is my username, and this is the Docker token. Regarding the AWS access key and CLA key, you don't need it, and because I mean, if you're trying to use the EKS cluster, you definitely need that. But I've tried to make this video short to make this, video available and understanding for you guys, that instead of your EKS cluster will take some time. So instead of that, I've decided to go for the kind cluster. So anyway, guys, this is the just basic intro that what we are going to do, what we need, and if I navigate to the files area, you will see that every file according to our application are going to be available. So I've done all the testing, and for you guys I've also added this added these files. So I'm going to cover uh, once we started. So first of all, we need to simply do the installation, and we are going to register our GitLab runner. So one thing regarding that, let me clear this config, which I forget to remove. So that is just demo. I mean, this is not something, there's just local kind cluster. Regarding the current cluster, I've already created the videos. You can watch those videos. So let me remove this guy, right? And I'm going to commit. So config removed, right? And I'm going to commit this guy and sync it. So, okay, that part is done. So let's build our server. So what I've done, I've already SSH into my Ubuntu server. Let me show you that hostname Ctl, right? So guys, what we are going to do as a first step, simply navigate to this section. So this area I've already covered that what it is and what we are going to do and what we need to do regarding the Datree token. And I have a policy there with the name prod, and we are going to use that policy. And let's begin. So first of all, what we need to do, we need to install Docker Compose. In fact, sorry, Docker. By default, it is going to install the Docker Compose version 2. So simply copy this guy, and I'm going to paste it here, and that's it. So what this command will do, it is going to use that particular script called by the Docker official, and we are going to install the Docker on our system. And by default, as I told you, it will install the Docker version 2. And then what we are going to do, um, we are going to set up the GitLab registration. And as I told you that I'm using the Ubuntu server, so this is the documentation with regard to that. Other than that, I've already created a video with this GitLab Runner. If you want to see, you can watch that particular video. So, and also I've made videos regarding Docker Slim as well. So these are the links. For instance, if you want to see video with regard to the GitLab Runner, you can navigate to this link, and this is the documentation link. So that is it. Now, what we are going to do, simply install the GitLab Runner. First of all, check that our Docker is installed. That is installed. If I do systemctl status of Docker, you will see that it is up and running, right? So simply I'm going to copy this command and paste it here, right? So what it does, it will take a little while, about 3-4 minutes. It will install the GitLab runner on our Ubuntu machine, and then we are going to do the registration part. So with regard to the registration, let me open another tab, and if I navigate to the settings area, for instance, this is the settings, and if I navigate to the CI/CD, right? So here you will see that runners area. Simply click this expand, and previously I've used these runners, so I'm going to remove it. And as I'm telling you all the steps from the scratch, so I'm going to register this runner. So for the registration, I'm going to use this particular token, right? So anyway, I'm going to remove this token. So, and if you want to reset the registration token, simply click this guy. So what I'm going to do, first of all, do the registration part. So let it done. So for the registration, as I discussed that I have everything set up for you guys. Simply copy this command gitlab dash runner register. So that is it done. So if I do system Ctl status of the GitLab Runner, you see this service is also active and available. Simply copy this command and I'm going to register this runner. So with regard to this, we are going to copy this, I mean, URL. This is our URL. If you are using the private self-hosted GitLab, you have to use your organization URL. So I've done that. I'm going to copy the registration token. Simply copy this guy and paste it here, right? So in the description, you want to give this any description. I'm going to say Datree K8 CICD. So that is it. And I'm going to press enter, right? So that is pretty much it. And um, for the executor, I'm going to select the shell, right? Press enter, and if I navigate to this page and refresh it, you will be able to see that and our server is going to be registered with this repository. And if I click this guy and uh, I'm going to use the tags, you can do from that CLI as well, but I would like to choose this repository to show you guys. So this is the shell tag I'm going to use, right? So that part is done pretty much with regard to our settings. So the registration part is done. So you can simply check the GitLab Runner status. Simply copy this command and paste it. So it is up and running, and that part is done. So what is this command? So this is with regard to the Docker socket permission. For instance, if you reboot your machine, what happened that the permission with regard to the Docker socket is going to be revoked. So what I've done, I've created a script for that, and what it does, it will set up the permission as service, and Docker socket will run as a service. And after reboot, this service also is going to be running. And other than that, I'm going to use the Docker login. And this is extra stuff which has nothing to do with this, but and this login says that we are going to store max size of 1024 MB or 1 GB with max file size of 5, and we are going to reboot our machine then. So what I'm going to do, let's say I'm going to say Docker permissions, whatever you want to call this guy, Docker permissions dot shell. Simply create this shell, right? And I'm going to simply add this guy, add the script here, right? So you have to do exactly the same stuff. And as we are building our, server, and it is pretty much you can say more of a lab with regard to the CI/CD of Kubernetes, and do all the verification which we are going to do. um, chmod plus x. Okay, this is now executable, so I'm going to simply run this guy. So what it does, it will create a service and reboot the machine. So you see, we are now exited, and now I will try to connect with my server again, but it will take some time. Okay, other than that, other part which I'm going to cover is regarding the Docker Slim installation. As I told you, the video I've already created for this. What it does, it will create the slim version of our application. So we are going to install that, and after that we are going to do the Helm installation. So just wait for the server. You see connection timeout. Once the server is rebooted, we are going to do SSH into that particular machine, right? So let's try one more time. And once the machine is up, we should be able to um, get back into that particular machine which we are building. So let me enter into this particular machine, right? And let me do root to just make sure that I should not do sudo every time and enter the password again and again. So you see, this is the service which we have set up. It will create automatically the script with the Docker socket. And if I do systemctl status of this Docker sock service, which we have created via the script. So you see it is up and running, and you see these are the Docker socket permissions, right? And now what we are going to do, we are going to install the Docker Slim. Simply have copied this command and Docker Slim installation has done. So I'm going to simply copy this command. So this is the Helm installation. I'm going to paste this, and the latest version of Helm 3 is going to be available for us. If I do Helm, you see this is available for us now. And then I'm going to do the installation of Datree. So simply copy this guy and paste it here. So this will install the latest version of Datree on this server. And as we discussed, that we are going to verify our YAML files. And I'm going to show you all the specs with regard to the um, policies which we are going to test, and also the success and the failures in the pipeline before our actual deployment. So then I'm going to use the Cube Ctl installation. So why we are installing the Cube Ctl? Because we are going to use kind cluster, and simply copy this command with regard to the kind cluster. So we are going to use this version 1.21.12 in this demo. So simply copy this and paste it. So it will set up a kind cluster for us on this particular Ubuntu machine. So it will take a while, but you will see that everything with regard to the setting up of cluster is going to be done, and it is going to be, done in a Docker container. So this is a very powerful tool to, to set up quick cluster of Kubernetes with your desired version. So it is actually installing. So let's wait for it. So it will take hardly 2 to 3 minutes. It's setting up a control plane, and as I discussed, we are using this version of Kubernetes. So let it done. Till then, what we are going to do, um, as I discussed, we don't need this guy. As if you're using EKS, you can simply use this command. These are the keys with regard to your, setting up in your GitLab, as I already showed in the start of the video. So we don't need AWS CLI for this demo. And also, as we set up the GitLab Runner, what we are going to do, copy this command and paste it. So what it does, it will copy the cube config in the home of GitLab Runner, and give that particular user of GitLab Runner permission to that particular directory and config file. So once it done, let me show you kubectl. If you type kubectl get nodes, you will see that one node is available and ready. And simply, I'm going to copy this command and paste it. So let me do that part. So that part is pretty much done. So now what we are going to do, we are pretty much moving to our CI/CD stuff. So now I'm going to show you guys the GitLab CI YAML file. So I'm going to remove this guy. So in this GitLab CI YAML file, what we are going to cover, we have four stages: build stage, push stage, test, and deploy stage. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, also I'm going to open this Docker registry URL for you guys, where we are going to push our images. In fact, I've already done that, and I think yeah, mm, I've done that for you guys. Yeah, this one, right? So build tags. So these are the area where our pipeline is going to build the images and push the stuff for us. So you see, we have tag number 49, 48. These tags are with regard to our GitLab pipeline. So let me show you that part. So we have four stages, and this is our image name, QuickBooks 2018, my Docker registry, and slash Datree, and CI/CD pipeline ID is the image tag that we are going to use. So as I discussed, we have four stages. Let me cover this part with regard to the build. We are going to build our images, build our image application image. So I've added some of the basic commands to show you guys that how you can do the basic pipeline, and you can use this repository, and it will give you more understanding with regard to your understanding of CI/CD pipeline. And in fact, you can use the particular blog which I'm going to show you in your production pipelines regarding the Kubernetes YAML verification directory. So guys, this is the build section. These are the basic command: Docker version, I'm checking who am I, pwd, present working directory, Docker version, Docker compose version. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to build the image and I'm going to push that. So I'm not pushing here. Push stage is going to be in the next. So what I'm going to do after then, I'm going to reduce the size of my actual image to a great extent, which I've already covered in particular video which I've shown you guys. So this will reduce the size of that particular image which we are going to use, and then we check the Docker images. In the next step, what we are going to do, we are going to push the image, and we are going to push this image to our Docker Hub registry. So as I shown you, these are the variables which I have added in the start: Docker user and Docker token. We are going to log in first of all. We are going to push our image, and then I'm going to log out. So I'm echoing it, and then I'm going to log out, just for security. Once I've logged in, push my image, and then I'm going to log out from that server. And then this is the part where I'm going to do the Git deployment unit testing. So this is the Helm unit testing. What we are going to do in this, that we are going to simply use this Helm template command with regard to our basic sample hello template. So I've already added these basic command here as well. You can see this. Let me simply refresh it. So I've already removed the config, so it should not be available here. So with regard to the Datree commands um, and help useful commands, you can see this. So what we are going to do here, we are taking the output of that particular template into this Datree.yaml file. So everything is going to be output into that YAML file, right? And then what we are going to do, simply get this Datree YAML file, and then we are going to do test from Datree via Datree regarding our Kubernetes manifest check. So this is the command, and I'm going to use this particular prod policy which I've covered. So, and in the last step, what we are going to do, we are going to deploy our application and Helm app deployment. This is the deploy last stage of our deployment, and what we are going to do, we are using some command here like Cube Ctl cluster info get nodes, detail nodes, and then we are going to deploy our application if that stage is successful. If that stage is failures, our deployment will not um, jump to this stage. So then we are going to install our application. We are going to use this command helm upgrade install hello. This is our basic template which we have created and added in that repo. So we are going to use values.yaml, and we are going to set our image according to our image tag, which I've already covered. So this is our repository. This is our Docker Hub registry, public registry, and this is the image. In the tag, as we already discussed, we are going to use this tag, and in the namespace tree, it will create it, and we are going to use the kind cluster. So that is it. So let's try. If I navigate to this section of the kind of the CI/CD, okay. So you see config removed. What I'm going to do, let's try to run a pipeline, see what issues we have, and we will try to fix those. So I've already attached this with my um, VS Code, and if I do commit this pipeline also run, I'm going to show you later once we are going to update our application. So if I run this pipeline, let's see. So you see we have four stages: build stage, push, test, and deploy. So if I click on this build stage, let me show you that to you guys. You see all the commands what we are going to use are going to be available. That who am I am the GitLab Runner, pwd, present working directory on that particular server is going to be this one, right? And this here I'm going to do ls docker version, sorry, docker ps-a is going to show us the running state of containers on our server. So this is the Docker version what we are going to use, and it will also, this command will show us the Docker Compose version, right? So it is populating, and it will take some time as we are building. You see, this is the Docker Compose version, and we are building our application. So let me show you the Docker file as well. So this is the image, and Docker file is in the build section of our repository. So this is the Docker file, and this is the index.html. So with regard to the Docker file, what we are going to do, we are going to use the latest Nginx image. We are going to update, and we are going to install AWS CLI JQ. These are not required, just for a demo. I'm using this stuff. So index.html, I'm going to put into this particular index.html in the next section. USR share nginx /html, and index.html is the place. So anyway, if I navigate to this guy, you see app update command, and all the installation with regard to the AWS CLI is going to be done. So as I told you, this is not a requirement, just for a demo. This is the image what we built. So you see, um, this is the CI/CD pipeline number 51, which we'll see later that it is going to push this image to our Docker Hub registry. So you see size is reduced to this amount, and what it does, it pull the image of 142 MB, and this size of our application image is reduced by using the Docker Slam command. So I've covered this step, so I'm not going to cover this guy. So you see, our build part is pretty much done. So after the build section, we are going to navigate to our push section. So let me refresh this guy where we are. Okay. In fact, those parts are already done. So now I'm going to show you the push area, right? So if I click this guy, I'm going to show you the command with regard to the push. So as I discussed that what going to do in push, everything is now available here. Login succeeded, log out, and we have pushed our image to this area. So if I simply refresh this guy, we should be able to see that our image was successfully built and pushed. You see, this is the tag number to our repository and just 3 minutes ago. So anyway, I'm going to close this guy. Then I'm going to use the test section. We are going to use Datree. And if I click this guy, so I'm going to give you a little detail on this guy. So let me uh, do the navigate from the top. Actually, now you see we have used this command helm template, and we are going to create a template of our all the YAML file which are going to be created by Helm. So we are going to simply output that to Datree.yaml instead of installing Datree in our cluster. So I'm not uh, doing that. This is a little different approach that I'm going to simply output this area, and this is the cat of Datree.yaml. So this is the API version service account, and uh, this is the current service, and everything with regard to our YAML are going to be available. So this is actually now verified by Datree that our Helm YAML files are okay. And I'm going to show you the failures as well. So how you can verify that. So you see this is the image um, which we are going to use, and this is the 51 um, tag, right? So that is pretty much with regard to that. Then we are going to use the dirty test command, and the policy is going to be prod. I'm going to use that. You see, currently in this policy, we don't have much. Let me navigate to that area. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on the history, and you will see this time area 5 minutes ago. If I navigate to the policies section, what you can do, simply create a policy and give this name, prod, dev, whatever you want. I'm not going to create that because I've already done that. If I click on this prod, you see we have only three rules active. So what I'm going to do to give you to show you guys how you can test this policy. For instance, if I prevent deploying naked pods, right, and other stuff with regard to prevent containers for having root capabilities, and let's say I enable these two policies, and let's try to rerun our application. And before that, I'm going to show you how we are going to test our application. So if I do if config if config.me, sorry, go in config.me. This is my public IP, right? And I'm going to simply take one shell into this guy. Now save it. Why I'm doing it, let me show you shortly. Oops. So guys, if I navigate back to that area, what I'm going to do, I want to show you that our application is up and running. And if I navigate to this area, deploy section, let me cover that for you guys as well. So deployment has done successfully. You see, these are the commands. If I do Ctl get nodes, this is the node which I already shown you. So this Git Lab Runner has also access to that particular kind cluster. And these are the command. You see, we have deployed one application, and now I'm going to show you that what is the application. And if I simply navigate to this area, right? Uh, Let me do Cube Ctl get pods in all namespaces. You will see this deployment has done. And if I do Cube Ctl get as we see in namespace Datree, our deployment um, with regard to that. Sorry, if I do namespace get svc, sorry, in all namespaces. So this is Datree namespace, and this is our service name. I'm going to do the port forward. So simply, what you need to do, navigate to this area, and I'm going to copy this command. Simply do port forwarding to my local host on 8080, right? And I'm going to simply do this here. And then, as I told you, this is the kind cluster. I'm going to do SSH port forwarding to this machine. So simply click this guy and simply copy this command. But of course, I will take a shell here, and I'm going to, sorry, update this particular IP. And what it does, it is going to map the port 8080 to our local machine. So curl if config.me. Excuse me. So port mapping is done. What I'm going to do is navigate to this area. Sorry, tab localhost, and you see we are able to see our application, right? So that is what we have deployed. Let me show you the application area, and I'm going to, let's say, deploy the different version of our application. But this time the application is not going to be deployed. We have failed our we are going to fail our application with regard to the K8 YAML policies, which are not actually validating our YAML files, and I'm going to show you that part as well. So if I navigate to the build section, this is my index.html. You see, this is the green version. Let me navigate to this area. Let's say um, I'm going to save this guy, and let's say I'm going to say deploy red. So deploy red, I'm going to only cover this guy regarding the deployment. Excuse me. So as I discussed, sorry, we are using the deployment. So automatic CI/CD, as we are using the same branch, is going to be automatically triggered. So if I navigate to this area, we will see in a while that automated deployment of red application is going to be triggered. So the build process is going to be the same and push, and then it should fail on that particular section. You see, we are pushing to Docker registry. So guys, as you see that in test we have failed and our deployment is not done. So let me show you that part. If the deployment is successful, we should uh, that will actually break our connection because it is going to be new deployment and this will change to red. So if I navigate to this section and you see policies, click on the history and you see this prod has failure and it was successful 5 minutes ago. Now it has failed 1 minute ago. So let's see what happened here. So the policy check are going to be failed in this red section. So you see we have one failure. So that is why with our policies which we want to test before our deployment is actually failing. So even if I navigate to that section, you can check from that area. So let me close the other part. Okay, so this is not the pipeline. This is the pipeline which is actually failed. Deploy red. So if I click this guy, you can click this as well. So simply I'm going to click this in the and open this in another tab, and you see the same stuff that one passing YAML validation and passing policy check 0 of 10 has failed. So prevent deploying naked pods, metadata release. So this is the failure that it won't allow to deploy those naked pods. So what I'm going to do, I want to just simply remove this policy. So from the UI, it is pretty much simple and easy, and you can use the CLI, I mean configuration as code as well to do this stuff. So I find from the console it is pretty much easy. So I'm going to simply close this, and this policy has now revoked. So what I'm going to do, simply rerun the pipeline, right? So if I navigate to this area and I want to rerun that particular pipeline. So as I told you that if everything goes well, this connection is going to be break with regard to the new deployment. And let's begin. So you see this part has successfully done completed, and let me do again to that particular stuff. Okay, let me refresh it. Even I run the pipeline or not. Just let me double check. Okay, click run pipeline from the console as well. You can do that, or definitely you can do the commit. It's totally up to you and do the merge. But as this is the demo, we are going to do that part from the console because I want to show you that the key at unit testing with Datree is going to be successful. So we are on the building phase again. So let it complete. As I already shown you all the stuff with regard to that. So just wait for that. So this part is now successful. the push should be successful, and we should have success in our test as well. Okay, again failure. Let's see what is now failing, because I forget to actually update. You see total failed one, and deploy naked port. Okay, because okay, I've done the mistake because I have updated the default policy. Sorry for that. I'm going to click that, right? So this is now checked. You see, deploying naked pod is actually active here. So my bad. I've done that part. So simply rerun the pipeline again. And if I navigate to the pipeline section area, so simply rerun the pipeline again. So guys, these some of the mistakes I just want to show you live, and don't want to edit that. What errors you can see live, and you can simply update those. So I've done mistake. For instance, in that particular policy I which I'm not actually using, which was the default. So I have my custom policy, which is the prod, which I've shown you in the start, that hyphen p is the flag for the policy, and I'm using that particular flag for my policy. So I've removed or revoked the naked container from that. You can add additional stuff. You can see, for instance, you don't want to run as root, CPU limit, memory limit, and see, now it is successful, and now we are in the deployment phase. So if I simply navigate to this section I've already shown you guys. So the connection is going to be break. So what we need to do, you see, it is now broken. So you see, because before that, I'm going to simply do the port forwarding. So again, do the port forwarding to this. So first of all, now our new application is deployed, and I'm going to do port forward to my port 80. The actual service port is port 80, and my port is 8080. Then I'm going to do the tunneling to this guy to my local host, and it will ask me for the password, and this is the password I provided. So simply I'm going to navigate to my local host. I should be able to see the red deployment of my application. See, or might be it is orange. So anyway, guys, this is the tutorial. If you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe the channel. And this is how we do um, YAML validation. And this is the create CI/CD with GitLab. And in the last, I just want to show you simply that if you navigate to the pipelines in the GitLab CI/CD YAMLs area, the Datree tool is absolutely amazing. You can use that particular I mean tool uh, in your pipelines. But simply what you need to do, if I navigate to this GitLab CI/CD, simply add this block before your actual deployment. So it will do the unit testing or YAML validation of your Git YAML files. That is it. So thank you very much. Have a nice day.